Well, we're sticking with our nature theme with our next guest this morning. We're lucky to live in such a naturally beautiful part of America, and we think it's important to get your young people interested in the outdoors. I know it was when I was a young mom. Fiona Cohen is the author of the Curious Kids Nature Journal, and she joins me now. Welcome.
Hi.
We have a cattail floating around. We've been laughing at that as it's floating around, which is a wonderful part of nature. So tell me about this book, Curious Kids Nature Journal. What's it all about?
It's about just a little prompt to go explore. It's set up with information about the things you might find outdoors, including fun facts. And it's set up with a broad range of interests. If we've got a kid who wants to write and write and write, there's room there. If you've got a kid who just wants to fill in blanks and just sort of document, I saw this on this day, that's there too. It's ready for anybody.
And we should say you wrote this in a manner that worked for you as well, right? Personally, why this format personally?
Well, I was a reluctant writer myself as a child. I was not one who was just, I want to write about everything. I was, very reluctant to write anything down. So I had dyslexia and really struggled in school, in elementary school. So I had in mind, what would work for me, what would maybe induce me to actually use this.
So the prompts and the way you've set it up, so the date and time you see something, and then you actually, in this sense, gave them something about the Pacific. Is it the Pacific chorus frogs?
Yes.
And so that got you started, that kind of format. So it works for children.
Yes. Well, and it works. As I say, we've got a little information about the Pacific chorus frogs and the incredible noise they can make in the spring as they wake up. And it starts from just the date and the place, and then more and more detailed questions until you can just write your own notes. And then if for a really keen kid at the bottom here, you can join in a citizen science project and share and send in your observations and share them with scientists.
And part of what I really like about how it's set up is, as you said, you start with the things that they might know or could find out easily, the date and time, and then, as you said, you go on progressively, getting them to say more and more, and then to start to really use their imagination and what they've learned, which is wonderful. What are some of the things to see in nature that you want us to notice? And you've brought some things here. Share with me some of the things that are important that we maybe should notice in nature.
Well, this is, I think, a really fun thing. You'll see these on the beach a lot of times, these clamshells with a little hole.
Right, they look perfectly cut out as if they're not real, right?
Yes, as if somebody's punched them out to make a necklace. The thing that's punched them out is the snail that lives in this shell, which, I mean, actually the snail itself is more the size of a loaf of bread normally. It's able to squeeze out all the water and hide in this shell, but it's anyway, what it does is it'll find the clam and it'll latch onto it, and then taking a sharp-toothed tongue called a radulus, slowly scrape away at it. To get into this clam, it probably took 2 days.
Wow.
And then when it has the hole, it can sort of insert its mouth and suck the clam out.
And you have just given me this wonderful lesson that a child would love to hear, especially when they know what a hole punch is as well, and then they could see this is nature's hole punch right here, right? What else interests you about nature that we should notice?
They're just the great variety and the things here. This is a stick, a beaver stick. I've got it, Golden Gardens, like right in the middle of everybody. There's a beaver dam going on there, and you can see the beaver's eaten it. But at one end, you've got where the beaver chomped it off in one bite, but if you look closely along here, you can see where the beaver just slowly, carefully stripped away the bark to eat. And just to how nimble the beaver is with those, imposing incisors is kind of amazing to me.
And as I walk through nature and I'm listening to you, I would think, okay, that's a stick, and maybe a beaver put it in his dam. But what you just taught me also teaches me about how a beaver survives, adapts, lives, just like I chew food, beavers use it. So I love that notice of nature. You say there are some common but overlooked and underappreciated animals. Do you have a favorite?
Well, crows would be obvious. You know, it just.
I don't always appreciate a crow, especially in my trash bags. But you do. Tell me about that.
Well, because they're smart and because we have food, they can get in our way sometimes. But they're intelligent. They're sociable. You never find one. They're always together. They will do interesting things. You can see them do things like dropping seeds on the roads for cars to run over. You know, and then there's the big parade every morning and evening when they go to their night roosts.
You have given me an appreciation for crows I didn't have. The idea of parades and dropping things for cars. I love the visuals and the excitement that you have that's also in your Curious Kids journal. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.